All right, friends, today we're rounding out this week's reading. And we're going to reflect on all of chapter 7 and then this beginning of chapter 8 that we read yesterday. And next week, we're going to start our reading by looking at John 8:12, which is where Jesus says, I'm the light of the world. So we'll talk more about that next week. But really what we've read this week sets that up. So just as a reminder, we talked about this some this week. But everything that's happened in John chapter 7 and up until this point, even into chapter 8, happens in the context of the Festival of the Tabernacles. There were 3 big festivals each year that all the Jews would travel, not all, but many Jews would travel to Jerusalem to participate in. These festivals were big parties. I mean, it's like a holiday, but where everybody comes to one place. And we've talked a little bit this week about some of the rituals around the Festival of the Tabernacles. One of the other things that would happen is that they would be up all night. In fact, one of the things that I read this week said that the most pious, they devoted themselves to trying to be up all night long. And they would dance and they would sing and they would do it all in light. Light that was being created by 4 giant candelabras. Each candelabra, each of the 4, had 4 bowls on the top, so you end up with 12 bowls of fire, one for each of the 12 tribes of Israel. And again, one of these sources that I read, ancient source, says that here's the way that they described it. They said, there wasn't a courtyard in Jerusalem that wasn't touched by the light of the candelabras. Is that a bit of hyperbole? Probably, but it just shows you the tremendous amount of light that's coming from these candelabras that are situated in front of the temple. And at the end of each night, or early in the morning, a priest would come out and would come out and then face the candelabras and face the temple with his back to the east, back to the rising sun, and would say, this isn't a direct quote, but would say, our ancestors turned their backs to the temple and turned their eyes towards the sun, but our eyes are on God. And it was this reminder, they do it night after night, that we have to continually orient ourselves towards what? Towards the light. There's so many things that want us to orient ourselves towards them. No. We are going to be people who orient our lives towards the light. And what is the light? The light is Yahweh. The light is God. And it's in that context that Jesus says, you know what? Let's take it a step further. I'm the light. You want to know what it looks like to orient your life towards God, to orient your life towards the good things in life? Orient your life towards me. Come and be a follower of me. Isn't that cool? Jesus shows up at the party. He shows up at the festival, and he doesn't show up just to do what everybody else is doing, but he shows up and he shows people in the context of that holiday, in the context of that party, in the context of that festival. He shows them something even deeper about who God is, and he invites them to come and follow him. Because by following him, they're following after God. So let me just ask you this. You're getting ready for Christmas. In some way, you're getting ready for Christmas. What is it as you show up at these holiday parties with family or with friends? As you show up, what is it that God is going to ask you to do in the midst of the party? It is not to stand up there and say, I am the light of the world, because you're not. It's not to do that. But it is, perhaps, to look for little ways and for big ways to reflect the light of God in the context of those parties. And when I was early on in ministry, I was getting ready to leave a church, and as a going away gift, I was given a book and a bookmark. And the bookmark said there are 2 ways to reflect the light. There are 2 ways to be the light. Either to be like the sun or to be like the moon. And I read it, and my pastor, who was a mentor to me, said, and which one are you? I knew what the answer was. So many of us want to be like the sun. We want to shine the light ourselves as if we're the one from which light emanates. No. We're the moon. we reflect the light. So when you show up at the party, you're not saying, I'm the light of the world. But when you show up at the party, you are recognizing that you can reflect the light of the world. This holiday season, what does it look like for you? Going into all of these parties with family and with friends, what does it look like for you to reflect the light? The Father sent Jesus to the Festival of Tabernacles to show people things that they needed to see. Could God be sending you to your family, to your friends, to show people what it is that they need to see? How is God sending you to bless people this Christmas season? God bless you, friends. Keep with the reading. Next week, we're going to read the rest of chapter 8. God bless you.